This is an excerpt from Small Business School, the series on PBS. Hi, I'm Hattie Bryant. This is a fish story that doesn't stop growing. We start on the main street of a little seaport village in Oregon, and before you know it, we'll be in the White House. We're going to discover how a fisherman's hangout has become the foundation for modern tourism in Newport, Oregon.
Moe's has kind of become its own little entity where I just feel like I'm the caretaker of a legacy.
Cindy McEntee is owner of Moe's Restaurants, the place famous for serving hot clam chowder since 1951. She has 3 locations on the Oregon coast and a chowder-based factory. With the home office in Newport, the operation employs up to 200 during high season and generates $3.5 million in annual sales. With a group of partners, she owns an additional 3 locations. We met Cindy in the White House in June of 2001 when she was named Oregon's Small Business Person of the Year and first runner-up for the National Small Business Person of the Year Award.
The product of Moe's is just a plain and simple restaurant with simple seafood dishes that aren't complex. It's for the everyday person.
I read where a Seattle food critic called this a dive. Is that okay with you?
Well, I mean, I'm laughing all the way to the bank, I guess. Our big push this last few years has been to really focus on families. And we try to make it as special as we can for the children. You know, you eat where your children want you to eat.
You see, world's pickiest eater right here.
Okay. He eats it too.
He's eaten the chowder since he was 1 year old.
It's good stuff.
We wouldn't go anywhere but Moe's.
You wouldn't go anywhere but Moe's?
Yeah, no.
And you're from Idaho?
We're from Washington.
Oh, you're from Washington, and you're from Idaho. So miles and miles around, Moe's reputation is out there.
Oh, heavens.
Okay, what is it, sir, that you like about it?
Clam chowder. None better. None better.
So Cindy, what is in your chowder?
Well, we have here a mixture of potatoes, clams, bacon, there's some pepper from the salt and pepper, and onion. It's just a slight onion in here, and milk, whole milk.
Whole milk, not cream.
Not cream. And that is a Moe's clam chowder.
Moe's serves up 60,000 pounds of fish a year, and Cindy tries to buy as much seafood as she can from the local fishermen and oyster farmers. There was a time when she owned this oyster farm and fishing boats, but after trying to make those businesses profitable, she sold off those assets to people who focus all of their attention on fishing and farming. Cindy's grandmother, Moe, opened a 24-hour diner on the waterfront in 1951. Since 1975, Cindy has been the force for growth.
When she started this restaurant, it wasn't the same type. I mean, our whole lives were different. And people, well, you know, this waterfront was full of longshoremen and fishermen, and there was no tourism, so to speak.
And it was 24 hours?
It was 24 hours. And so our focus was a little different. And, you know, you worked out of the till. If you had money in the till at the end of the night, you made money. I mean, it was different then, you know.
When did you have that aha that you had to get your handle on the financials?
I was probably 22. It was just the questions in my mind. I mean, I needed to know. And I thought it was so loosely wrapped. I mean, basically her whole management style was very loose, and it was kind of carefree, and it just wasn't, it just didn't give me the answers I needed, you know, and without her need to know the answers, I thought, well, it's not going to disrupt anything. She can sit and do the long division. I can do these at home at night, and it won't disturb her way of doing what we do here. Every day you stand in the kitchen. I was the cook, and I stood in the kitchen, and I was, you know, I come to work at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and work till 10 o'clock at night cooking, and there's a line out the door the entire time that I'm working. And it was important to you know, is this money going to stay with us? I mean, are we paying for the goods that we are buying? You know, are we going across the street and buying 1 can of crab for $45, or are we getting a whole case that makes it $30 a can? You know, what are we doing here?
Moe's Annex opened in 1968 because the tiny original location couldn't accommodate the customer demand.
We incorporated in 1975, and before that it was just a sole proprietorship. Okay. And that's when that's when I became indentured in 75. She had me buy stock out of my paychecks.
Oh, okay.
And then she carried all the other stock. So that was, you know, she was just feeding me a little bit here to see how I could do it. Well, when you become a corporation, things change. And I was so happy to see that because there was a regular, you know, day that we paid bills. Okay. You know, there was accounting it every day for the money, and, you know, we don't wait till the end of the week to make the deposit. We make a deposit every day.
Right. So it was like comforting to you.
It was more secure atmosphere for sure.
I'm going to retire at Moe's. I have a 401k. I have a modest 401k. Cindy has supported me and taken care of me. I have great job security. I feel I'm a good emissary for Moe's because I feel it from the heart. I serve from the heart. I'm very successful in what I do.
We want them to want to be here, you know, and not just, this is just their job. It isn't just their job, and it's really, they're as well a caretaker of a very popular business as I am, and they become my ambassadors.
You always got to say thank you to your cook, even if it's a small thing.
We have monthly meetings where the whole staff comes. I want them all to say something. They're always like 15-minute little training sessions or a half hour sometimes. I often have a person there that maybe has a technique on customer service.
Right.
We have customer comment cards, and I bring the comment cards, good and bad, to the meeting. We make sure that the people know all the good things that were said about them, if it's personal. Then there might be a comment like, you know, the food was cold, or, you know, my fish was undercooked, or my fish was overcooked, or the chowder wasn't hot, which is like a cardinal sin. Those things, we bring them up. You know, it's like, hello, the chowder wasn't hot? Can anybody explain this incident? And we have the day and the time that it all happened, so we know exactly when and where. So it's discussed as a group. And then if there's a decision to make, what should we do about this? There's like maybe 15 key personnel people, and those are the people that have worked here 10 or over years. And I let them look at what I have to deal with, and okay, you guys, it's a group decision here. It affects every one of us, so.
Do you think it's critical, that helps you, to share numbers? I mean, so that when you share numbers, people here understand you're doing this FICA match, you're putting dollars in their 401k plan, and that helps.
It does help, because they become aware, you know, and how much do dishes cost? This is how much dishes cost. When you drop that tray of dishes, this is how much it cost. Now, I took them all to Hawaii a couple years ago, and...
Wait a minute, everybody?
Everybody.
How many people?
I think there were 47 of us.
Everybody went to Hawaii?
Everybody. And we had a really great time, but one of the reasons they got to go is that we had the least amount of breakage in dishes. We had the highest, well, we had no accident reports. I mean, it was one of these incredible years. It wasn't necessarily a good business year, but it was a really good year all the way around otherwise.
It's a personal relationship. It's a, you know, a boss and employee, but it's also a friend and a personal concern with your life, your family.
We do a lot of stuff like that. We'll do they're kind of like working weekends, make arrangements for maybe 12 or 14 of them with their spouses, and we'll go to like a restaurant show.
Right.
And so they they love those things as they see the new products and new things available and things that might make their job easier, like pan liners for our chowder pots. Now there's not someone scrubbing pots at 11 o'clock at night anymore. They pull those out, each pot, and throw it in the garbage, and you know, they can basically run those pots right through the dishwasher now.
Moe's is a national treasure. It's like a landmark or a state park or a shrine. People drive for miles to eat there. Some even told us they had flown in to eat at Moe's. Of course it's the food. Every restaurant owner will tell you their staying power rests on the quality of the food. Good service cannot make up for poor ingredients or stale bread or wilted lettuce. But it is more than chowder. Now it is a story to tell. Cindy loved her grandmother and what she stood for, and Cindy says she is now the caretaker of a legacy. Okay, but Cindy has been part of this story for 40 of the 50 years. And Cindy knows that these stories about her grandmother capture a bigger truth. We all want to be outrageous. We all want to be givers. We all want to embrace the world in its fullness. These stories about grandmother will always abide. But with grandmother alone, the business was barely profitable. Let's analyze what's going on. When Cindy was 21 years old, she asked her grandmother if she knew how much they were paying for clams. Mo said she didn't know. At that point, Cindy began installing accounting and food preparation systems. Moe's never made much profit before Cindy started her sharp pencil techniques. At the same time Cindy was working to improve the internal processes, she was also telling stories. Stories about how Moe gave plenty of fishermen food even when they couldn't pay, and about how the lady who drove her car right into the restaurant stayed to eat. The storytelling builds the legacy. Storytelling makes us bigger than life. Try it yourself. Formulate your stories, publish them on your website, make them part of your marketing effort. Do this, and 30 years from now, you will be the caretaker of a legacy.